Hello, everybody, and welcome to Jefferson Street Sound Museum. I'm Karen Coffey, the Vice President, and we want to extend a warm welcome to you. Today we have the Legacy Series featuring our dear friend Sharon Kay, the General Manager of Jazzy 88. And must I also say, the first female General Manager of Jazzy 88. So as we say, this is a fireside chat. We're just relaxed. We're going to delve into her journey through media and see what she comes up with to surprise us and tell us authentically
I said
her journey.
Didn't I say uncut, right?
Uncut.
Yeah.
So let's start off with an easy question. So share with us about your family life growing up in Kansas. And it was Leavenworth, just right outside of Kansas City.
Yes.
So what was your family life like?
Well, first of all, it's not the prison. It's the city.
Okay.
Because that's the big house there, you know, that they refer to all the time, which employs a lot of people. But there's also four prisons in that little city.
Leavenworth.
There's a federal prison, and then the United States Army base is connected to my home city. And you just drive from one to the other. But they have their own DB, they call it, where they would lock up the soldiers that were disruptive or didn't, AWOL or whatever. So there was that one. Then we had a women's prison, and then we had a state prison. So when you live there, you just prisons are around you everywhere.
Everywhere.
And you just anticipate somebody's relative working there. My father didn't, and he worked for the military.
Okay.
On the base. So I grew up like a typical small town. Everybody knew everybody, and everybody told on me. Told on me that I said, y'all need to stop. But it was just, my parents, I didn't find this out until later on in life. One of my school friends, he said, did you know that your parents are the only married couple on our street? And I said, huh? I told Mr. Such and Such and Miss Such. He said, they weren't married. And my, so I went down the list of people in our neighborhood. That was the fact. I never thought about it growing up because I just assumed
that they went together.
Yeah, because they lived together for so long. And they just seemed like a, married couple. But a lot of the ladies and gentlemen on the street where I lived grew up are just, a lot of older people, a lot of stable people, and across the street from our home, which my parents bought the house in 1954.
Okay.
And so it was, and my mother was there up until she passed about 10 years ago. So it had been our home, family home. And across the street from us was a grain elevator. And those were Kansas is a big state for wheat. And corn and all that. So the farmers would, come over in the big trucks and everything. And that stuff would spew out and be covered, and your car would be covered, you have to shut your windows and doors and all that. So we were just kind of the kids of the corn, I guess, because we would just play. My mother didn't want us to run through and play in it.
But you played
we did it anyway. But it was like everybody was just nice. More so than, people right now don't talk much. But
was it segregated?
My neighborhood was probably a good mix, both. A lot of older black ladies that went to church with my parents. So, I had them on one end, I had them on this other end. So I got away with very little, but I did get away with stuff. And, my home is like population. Back then it was probably 6,000 people, something like that. That's why everybody knew each other. And the church family church, is Bethel AME Church, which is an underground railroad church. So we were very grounded there in that city by history. And my parents were advocates for history. How my daddy used to say, I don't want no ignorant kids. He used to, I can hear him ringing in my ear right now saying that. He meant it. Yeah. So, we were exposed to a lot of things, books and museums and libraries and, documentaries and things like that. We were exposed to it because our parents, my parents used to make us watch evening news.
Right.
I mean, all the way,
Walter Cronkite.
all the way back to when he was young. Honey. We were there watching. We had to sit together at a table, family table, and it was like almost like the Black Cleavers, I guess you could say.
The Huxtables, huh?
Well, the Huxtables minus money, because it wasn't about that. It was not about that. But my parents used to sew our clothes, and that was back in the day, and I had to wear a lot of hand-me-downs and stuff like that. So it made me so humble, and I've stayed that way because it wouldn't take but a split second for anybody to just fall back on not having anything, especially in today's world. But they did everything homemade. I had the city and the town had my other relatives. One grandma lived around the corner, grandparents. My other grandfather lived down the street on the same street. My aunt lived around. I mean, I literally could not get away from my own family. And my mother and father pretty much knew. I'm the youngest, and as I think my mother would have said, if she was here, she'd probably say, "Sharon, you ain't got to say that." I think that's what she would say. She used to do that all the time when she'd hear me on the air say stuff. But I was probably the most rambunctious, precocious child they had. My two older sisters and my brother was all normal. And then, they were, my sisters were majorettes, they had college degrees, and they did all these things, dean's list and all this kind of stuff. Here I am barely scraping along. But each one of them made it hard for me because they had risen so high in, that was back in the day, that it shined a light on me. And my brother, he was good in sports, so I really didn't have a choice. I had to get something where I'm good in, and it's weird. I did find something I was good in, and that's what I do basically now. It's weird.
So did that start for you in high school?
It started when I was about 6 years old.
Okay. What were you doing?
My granny entertained the neighborhood.
Okay.
My granny gave me a crank up player.
Phonograph.
And one record.
Okay.
Bill Haley's "Rock Around the Clock," and so all the kids would come over because the whole neighborhood's entertainer. My family, a lot of folks gravitated to my neighborhood, so I would play it, and they would say, "Oh, I like that. Play it again, Sharon." So I'd back the needle up, put it on there again, and they would just be out there dancing in my backyard. And play it again. I mean, I had to play it in a row about 6 or 7 times in a row because they couldn't get enough. Bill Haley's song like "Rock Around the Clock" is very up tempo, and exciting, and they loved it. So kind of that's really where I got my start. And I always collected.
6 years old, playing Bill Haley's "Rock Around the Clock."
That was it.
That was your start.
I think that song came out in 55, 54, 55, something like that. That was my first 45. I wish I still had it because it might be worth somebody today, right? But everything, like I did a lot of things that were unheard of really for black people. I did a lot of strange things. Like I was in a school play, the first black play, or the first play the school had with black people in it. I was one of the characters who was Raisin in the Sun. And I did a lot of other things. I played clarinet for a while. Don't know a single note today, okay, not one. It was just, I was gravitated toward people and music. And I always had my own record collection. Even when I was probably 10, 11 years old.
So,
yeah, I would buy my little records, my little 45s.
So that was the start, huh?
Yeah, because there was music around us all the time. We're in a bedroom community of Kansas City. And my mother grew up in the 18th and Vine neighborhood. And my granny, too. That was her area. I heard about this stuff all the time. Their friends were some of the biggest names in music. They would come by, as my granny used to say, my mom. They would come by, my aunts, my two aunts. My grandmother had a twin sister.
Oh.
So whatever I did, I got it twice. Okay. I got told up on one and then the other one.
Followed.
Yeah, it was like a tag team. She had a twin sister and another sister. And they grew up in that area where jazz was king in Kansas City. It was a poor, very, very poor area at that time. They were living in like one-bedroom flats. It was just ghetto. It was hood. And stories I used to hear from my family, grandfather too, about Duke and Cab, and I started hearing all these names. I didn't know who they were. Okay,
Right.
and I said one day, "Who is Duke and who is Cab?"
Cab.
Yeah, I was like, and they said, "You don't know." I said, "No, I don't know. I keep hearing y'all talking about this one, that one." They had a first name basis because back then black people couldn't go in restaurants and hotels and things.
That's right.
And they had to do everything outside of the norms. So they would play cards at my aunt's and my granny's house. They would play cards and have drinks after they just did the club in Kansas City. So it was kind of a good times place, and they all came over there all the time because it was the word was, when you get to Kansas City and you can't find nothing to eat or nothing to drink, call such and such or go by such and such.
Right.
So that was my family. So that's how they got to know. That was my mom's family. That's how they got to know about who all these people were. Because I kept hearing all these stories about them and all these different things. And I was very, because I was so nosy when I was a kid. I would sit and listen. I don't know if they even knew that I was
listening.
Yeah, but their stories were so good, and interesting. So, my dad was, my mom's from Kansas City, Missouri. And my dad is born and raised in Leavenworth. Our family is considered one of the pioneer families in that state, one of the first families
To settle in that state.
Kansas.
So tell us about your first radio gig.
I'm still trying to get over that. It was nerve-wracking. I didn't have any experience or any education in the broadcast at all. I just had an ability, a talent to be able to. I knew I know how to spin music because I was playing music. I was DJing in clubs. Yeah, making extra money. I made $100 an hour doing that. I was like, I was a novelty because I was a woman. There weren't any women DJs then, especially calling the shots. So once I got that mastered, I decided in my head that I wanted to be a real DJ. I didn't want to be, go in the club. I wanted to be real. So that's when I got interested in paying attention to how to go about doing this. I didn't know anybody in there. I hadn't, worried people to death. I hadn't done this, but I just kept having feelings that this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. My parents wanted me to do something different, like get a real normal job.
So how did you get into the radio? Did you go to the radio station?
I went everywhere. I went all the radio and TV stations and to see what I could see. And the TV stations kept telling me, you need to come back and see us when you got some experience. We'll talk to you then. I'm green as a gourd. I had not ever done this before. So I'm just going.
Right.
And, taking a chance and, trying to get familiar with the look inside, some of the language they might be speaking or something like that. So I didn't sound so ignorant because I really had no idea.
Right.
So I had to learn things real quick. The station, and I'm gonna get to the point on this, where I started was considered, I don't know if you know what a clear channel is, that you can hear all over the world. Not the company, but the channel.
Channel.
It was an original clear channel. And at the time, when I started working there, I think I was 60 years old then, and I was back in the late 70s, so the station well over 100. But it was considered as a voice of that region. And it was like, I wanted to get on the cool stations where the cool people were, and then I wanted to, they would, they didn't even look me in the eye at all. It was like, no. So I did everything, knocking on people's doors and did all that kind of stuff. And it was depressing at first. And then I said, well, just chalk this up to experience. Because one of these days, these people don't know me. One of these days, I just say that to myself all the time. Talking myself into going to the next place and knocking on the door. So I got tired of hearing that. And it was difficult because I was at the crossroads. I can either go get a real job like my daddy and my mother want me to be a secretary. Oh, it's a good paying job, Sharon, you're stable. You have these kids, you need something stable. But I wasn't about stable. I was about doing what I wanted to do. And what I felt like was going to be make a mark. So I had heard about this position at the AM radio station, WFSK. I'm so used to saying that, WREN, AM 1250. And it was considered as big, like WSM here is here in Nashville, big. That's how they were back there. They never had any black people on the radio now in this whole city, ever, until I got my job. So,
So you're a trailblazer.
but oh, no question. And even though I was playing Beach Boys and, Linda Ronstadt, and I was playing all those songs, knew the words, and, I was playing all that. But our community still listened to me anyway, because I was the only black voice. And I was, I was doing menial tasks. But trying to get my foot in that was probably an interesting experience, because when I heard about it right before they filled the position. And I got word that Ren Radio had a potential part-time opening. And that's all I needed was a slither. Because I knew if I had a slither to get in, I'm going to open this window and I'm coming in. That was how I felt. And I was the last person to get interviewed. I was number 20. There were 19 people ahead of me that had experience and know-how. I'm 20. And I think they were just trying to be nice. Okay, to be honest. And they put me in a news booth and gave me some copy, which I didn't even know what it was. I just knew it was words on paper. And told me to record a news story and record a commercial. I had to sit there for a while and say, oh Lord, this is it. This is it, Jesus. This is it. I didn't know how to turn machines on. And I was in there sweating. I'm like, oh, I am not going to get this job because I don't know how to turn this stuff on. I mean, it was back in the day when they had those big knobs. Yeah. Switches and all that. And so I finally had to just get up and go to, and they were probably laughing at the window, looking at the window.
What is she doing?
Yeah, but it wasn't marked. I mean, it was like, oh, Lord. It didn't say Mike Warner. It wasn't nothing of that. You just had to know from muscle, I guess, memory. So when I went out and got the help from the program director, his name is Dan Bennett. He now has been with Cumulus for like 50 years or something. But anyway, he came in. He said, "Okay, I'm going to bring Jeff in, and he's going to show you which buttons to turn off and on." And I feel terrible because I didn't even, I was like off and on.
Right, yeah.
And I had to record on a reel to reel. Remember those days?
Yeah,
that was back in the day.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was doing. Honest, so help me. If the Lord had not been by my side, pushing me, because I read it sounded good. Now I've been in Nashville for almost 40 years. I have a twang. I did not have a twang in Kansas. I was very flat. We enunciated all of our words there, and we didn't cut things off like you do in the South. So I could fit in. But the conundrum, I think, for them was they didn't have any black people on the radio in that city at all. And it was at a time, 70s, 80s, when black people were starting to get jobs and things that they had never had before. So actually, when they called me, I'm about passed out when they told me, we were looking at this videotape, and you got a good voice. And I was like, okay, and we think we're going to give you this job. But it was only for about $4.50 an hour, and it was midnight to 6, and I didn't say anything on the air. All I did was change the tapes and check the power up and down. So that way it gave me a chance to learn machinery.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have to say anything for about 6 months. And so nobody actually believed I was there. So they didn't see me, they didn't hear me. So I would, try my hand at doing legal IDs at the top of the hour. And that was my first opportunity to be on air when I said, AM 1250 WREN Topeka, Kansas. That was the first thing I got to say on the radio, and I was like, "Mother," I said, "Mother, did you and Daddy stay up to hear that?" Right? They're like, "No, we were asleep." So, it was just, and I had a personality. We would be doing all kind of things back in those days in radio. Unlike now, you can't do anything now, but. I just rose up slowly. I was consistent. I would work for other people that couldn't make it. You know, a lot of
Still at
things.
the same station?
Yeah. I learned more there than I have anywhere.
So how many years were you there at that station?
7.
So 7 years. And then did you come to Nashville?
Yes.
So.
See, I had to use all that to be able to handle Nashville. That and
more.
Yeah. Because this market was a trip.
So
That
what
was
brought you to
125th
Nashville?
market out there. Nashville is 50.
Yeah. So what brought you to Nashville? That's a good question, isn't it?
Well, I was married to, I got married out there to a Nashvilleian.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So
it's
they
weird.
sweet talked you into moving to
Well,
Nashville?
no, he didn't, because I said it would make sense for my career. And, you know, you're always on the phone, around the phone call, up and talking Nashville anyway, and Murfreesboro and all this. So, you know, so what I was looking for is how to advance at that point. I was very well known. I was very popular on the air. I rose up to middays. There'd never been a black person work middays in that city, and a woman. So I had done a lot of things high profile. I had done community things, just like I do here in Nashville. I was doing the same thing back then. I had a variety show I used to do every year at the amphitheater, and people would come and they would do their little skits, dancing, singing, and all that, and have the booths around there. I was doing that back in '82 or '83. So that's the kind of stuff I always did.
Right.
And I just brought that with me to Nashville. So, you know, this was just a whole nother, I wasn't mentally prepared for here. I was thinking, well, maybe they'll, you know, and I got the door slammed in my face like you would not believe. And, you know, my feelings was hurt. So I finally got a call one time from WSM.
Okay.
That was a big, huge deal for me. I was on that station now. And they were interested in me coming to work in the news department because I had a news background at the time. And we talked, you know, this and that. Name some areas where you might be comfortable living. And I mean, it was just one of those beautiful conversations that I was about to get this job. Now I need you to come out here and look around and see if you can, you know, work at our station, meet the people, and all this. That's all I needed, right? It didn't turn out like that at all. When I got here, I went to the station and they freaked out because they didn't know I was black. They thought I was a white girl. That changed a lot. Oh, that's her. Oh, because they didn't have all this internet and they didn't have all this stuff back then.
Right.
You know, they went solely by my voice. And I had good references, and everybody that they would talk to back there professionally said glowing things, but they never said about my race or anything like that. So
It was kind of understood you were white.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Based on your position and the experience.
Based on being in
The
Kansas.
compliments,
I mean,
right.
there are black people in Kansas. That's what Brown versus Board of Education.
Right,
There are
Kansas.
black people there, but yeah, they just, and it was tough. It was really tough coming here. So I will never. Nashville was just. It was a horrible experience for somebody who wasn't expecting it. Now I'm in it. I see. Oh, okay, because everybody was real protective. They loved their positions. They didn't want to lose their jobs. They saw you as a threat. You're out of town. You're new. And
Right.
they wouldn't talk to you. You didn't know anybody. You wasn't getting in anyway because it was real close inside. So I had heard through the grapevine, just talking around with people, because I will have a conversation with people. Really, I know you're not. If something I
Right.
think that you might, I'm talking, so you can get information. So I found out that WLAC had it was either one night a week or 2 nights a week. Overnight, change the things, programs, put the carts in, carts out, do the logs, sign them. Every hour you had to sign a log verifying that you've done all these things. Back then it was a legal issue. Now you don't have to do hardly anything. But it was an opportunity, like 8 hours a weekend. But that was all I needed. Because I worked, actually, that was a blessed time to be there. I worked with the legends, like Hoss Allen,
Yeah.
Les Jameson, Teddy Bart. These are from Nashville people. They
Right.
they would definitely know them because they were the stars here, and a whole bunch of other folks. So I just like, that station was, once they got to meet me, I was like family to them, okay? Because they saw I was able to transition into various things. So from that, I would work from 5:30 until 10. I was the producer for Teddy Bard, behind the scenes. You didn't know I was back there. And occasionally they would have me come in, and when I came in, I had to do some stories. I was a reporter. And because they had news, I think they had news at the top and the bottom of the hour. And so I just got to do like, it's a 20-second, something like that. And so that's how my news level got elevated in Nashville. You know, you do news in WLAC back then, you were saying something. Because, you know, that was one of those stations that, you know, was fierce, known to be a very fierce station for listenership. And then I got more time. I mean, you know, Teddy Bart liked me, and oh, Sharon, you saw you, because I have them laughing in the morning, you know, and that was just all kind of stuff. So I started doing the news every day there.
Okay.
And I was the 5:30 anchor from 5:30 a.m. till 10 a.m. And it was on Teddy's show. So that was a huge deal.
That was.
But nobody knew me, so it didn't matter, okay? But all those legends in that building knew who I was. And I was cutting spots for them and doing different kind of things for them. So, you know, I was picking up dollars and cents here and there, but I was also picking up opportunity to learn something new.
Experience.
Yeah. And that was really, WLAC saved my mental capacity. Because if I hadn't got that job, I didn't know what I was going to do. I moved my whole family down here.
Right.
You know, packed everybody on a wish and a hope and a prayer.
That's okay.
And, you know,
Prayer
no, it wasn't
changes
okay.
Prayer changes things.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was a lot of that going on. I mean, a lot. I mean, I'm at the peak of my career there.
Right.
But here, I can't even get a return call. That was hard. So this was a gamble. I had 3 children. I was in radio with kids. That didn't happen. I mean, it was rare. But I would talk about my daughters on the air. They became little children celebrities. What they do today? I mean, the little ladies would love me. They would call, find out, you know, get a report on the kids. So that my daughters, both of them, grew up in stations with mom. So they are an asset to have in terms of being my support.
Right.
They get it very much so.
Understand it. Yeah.
From station to station, they get it.
So from WLAC, what station did you go to then?
I wrote news for WSM
Okay.
TV.
Okay.
I wrote news there. I wrote news at.
Who was at WSM when you were there?
I was a nighttime. I mean, I was a weekend associate producer. I wrote newscasts. I worked at the Nashville Pride. I wrote stories, took pictures. I had a pen name, still have it. I had a pen name, so people didn't know it was me.
Are you going to share what the pen name is?
And you see,
this is
okay. Just for the archives.
unfiltered.
My pen name is Nyla, Nyla.
Okay.
Fern.
Nyla Fern.
Okay. My mother's name is Fern.
Okay.
My father's name is Nile.
Oh, Nyla.
So I took their names.
Nyla Fern.
Yeah.
All right.
No one would have ever guessed that. I mean, literally,
No.
they would not.
Yeah.
So it was perfect. But I still, to this day, when I write, sometimes guess things, I will write in that name. If you go back and look through any of the I didn't write for the Tribune until recently, but the Sam Latham used to have those
Latham.
paper, Metropolitan Times. I wrote for them. He had another paper when his office was down, so I've written for 2 of his papers.
Okay.
And the Pride, so 3 other cities. And Miss Rosetta, I love her.
Yeah.
She would not let me work for her because I was already writing for 2 other papers.
Yeah.
And she said, "You are not coming up in here. I'm not. You either got to quit those papers." I was so perplexed because I'm like, don't she know I could, you know, don't she know? She didn't want me there if I was representing.
Right.
Because she didn't want any issues of conflict and all that.
Right.
Because, you know, back radio newspaper was newspaper wars in the black community. Well, we had 4 or 5 black
That's right.
newspapers
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yes.
getting a good reporter and photographer, people loved it. So no matter what I said, she would not give me a chance. Something like that. And I do have occasionally written stories for her since then, because I'm not doing that anymore under my pen name. But I did 4 or 5 different jobs, combine all that together to make one. I was married then, but that didn't matter
Am I
financially.
supposed to ask, what did he do?
Him?
Your husband.
That's a
At
good
the time.
question.
Okay.
And I'm not playing. That is a good question. He's deceased now, but he was in sales. Yeah, and it was just weird. And I must have been lonely. I don't know. You know how women do, right? Oh God, that was back in the day when you had to have a man or something was wrong with you. It was. Yeah.
So, we've set a good foundation with these questions.
Well, you can see I've been through a lot. I've been through hell and high water, honey.
So if we were to start right now, what advice would you give a female getting into media, getting into broadcasting, or radio, or television? What advice would you
Well,
give?
one of the first things I would say is don't let your ego get ahead of you, and learn how to be humble if you don't know how. If your feelings get hurt real easy and you're thin skinned, this is not the business for you, because you're gonna get toe up in there. And have some patience, because it is no walking in. It just don't work like that. Even back then, you just didn't walk in and boom, you're a star. None of that. That's TV or fiction.
It's a process. You got to pay some dues.
Oh yeah. Then know more about the business. Know more about what makes it tick. I would say in radio, if they let you in, take a tour.
If they let you in.
Now
If they let you
you're
in.
locked down now. I'm in corporate because W92Q. I worked there too. That was corporate. I forgot about that. I went to 92Q for 7 years. They hired me.
Okay.
Because they needed a newswoman. So news was where I was staying because I could get paid and do news. So when Tom Joyner's morning show was on Monday through Friday, Ernie Allen, longtime friend, he and I go way back. He hired me to do news, but I was a freelancer. So I would get up in the morning about 3:30, 4 o'clock, drive to the store and get a newspaper, because there was no such a thing as this internet business.
Right.
Nothing like that. And then I bring it home and come home and write stories. I had to rewrite the newspaper, basically. Then I
So
would
you got
call.
up early in the morning, so about 5 o'clock is when they deliver them to the
Well,
store.
about that time, first delivery, I was there waiting for it, because I had to get home and write it.
Right.
So I would call it in. Sharon Kay reporting live from Metro Courthouse. I mean, the whole shebang. I get it, all of that. But it was my news emphasis and my news knowledge that really helped me, because I was trying to be a DJ when I started. Okay, my very first serious mentor and friend in the business, he became my boss. He said, Sharon, he told me this in 1981. You're going to need to learn more than this. And we can get a monkey to play records. I was like, a monkey? You trying to insult me? I mean, he said, things are about to change in this industry, and you need to know that it's going to change for you. If you, in the future, you won't be able to take care of your kids if you just want to be a DJ. I want you to learn news. I was like, boring. I mean, because I didn't understand a lot. So once I got into it, he gave me a talk show. I was the first black talk show in Topeka, Kansas. They've never had one since, I'm sure. And I mean, I did 2 talk shows there.
So that was good advice that he gave you, to go ahead and
This is all machines to this day, all machines. So if he hadn't told me that, I'd still be sitting there saying, "Can you get the reel-to-reel tape?" I mean, they'd be looking at me like I was crazy. So I mean, he prepared me for the future, and to this day, his voice is still some of my on my show when a voice is. Now here's Sharon Kay. That's his voice. And he's been deceased for a while, but he was a well-known national media personality. And when he gave me that, I was like, you know what? That might have to happen. That might happen. So, you know, in Kansas, we get storms and tornadoes. And, you know, it's basically how I got my break. The tornado one night, I was on duty. Everybody was at a wedding. So I had to jump in the Corps. I just, you know, I couldn't call and say, it's a crisis, can y'all come? I had to do it.
Right.
Boom. And they freaked them out because I did it by myself. I was the one running down there. Because, you know, we had copy machines.
Follow the tornado.
Yeah.
Say where it is, how it is.
And take cover, ladies and gentlemen. In Shawnee County, to take cover immediately. I mean, I had to do the whole. And it was so strange because at that time when the tornado came, the wedding had just gotten over with and people were getting ready to leave. So they were listening on the radio. And they heard this person. And it was me. I mean, so after they like, I didn't know you could. I mean, so I didn't know it either. But I mean, put up that challenge, you know. And I didn't think they were listening until my boss said, you know, you are getting ready to get elevated into something else. You're going to do news more often. Because I got my authoritative tone. I've been watching Walter Cronkite and all those people be all serious and stuff. I knew how to do that because of them. It was just one of those, it was just bizarre things that sent me in the direction
Propelled
I'm going
you
in.
where you needed to
Yeah,
go.
it was just weird. It's just bizarre.
So I know that you had a male mentor. So through your journey through media, who was a female mentor for you?
I don't think I had my mother. Because I mean, I had friends in the business. And I would not necessarily say they were mentors, but we would talk all the time. I had girlfriends that were at other stations. But Nashville is very competitive here. You wasn't talking to nobody. These people here was not, wasn't doing it. And I think 92Q was the one station where I really learned that. If you're not part of the family there. So it took me a while. But I did, you know, work my way in there, you know, get almost 40 hours a week. But it was hard. This stuff is all hard. You get your feelings hurt every day. Somebody is upset because of what you said or what you didn't do, and you can't please people. So I just had to get over that. I can't please all of y'all.
Right.
I can't stay up all night wondering what I said at 8:45 p.m. I just got to go to bed. So I had to condition my brain. So, you know, I'd be worried about every word I said. I mean, I might offend somebody. I mean, people would be calling up cussing. I mean, I was worried because I shoot off sometimes. You know, I had something to say what's on my mind.
Not you.
I am really saying, and I mean that. Now I'm getting older, it's worse. Because I've experienced more.
Right.
I guess they call it wisdom. You know,
Yeah.
But I would say I don't have any females per se. I liked television ladies. Carol Simpson, who used to do the news on ABC. I loved her.
Trailblazer.
I loved sister that died. She was doing PBS News. It'll come to me. Her sister is the head of the the NAACP legal fund right now. You know what I'm talking about. She used to do the news and then she died. Those were my people that I didn't know them, but I would watch everything they did, how they carried themselves, how they would hold their copy, how they would speak. So that's who and you know, Barbara Walters was there too. But those two black ladies, Carol Simpson was the most, because she was it. There was no one. And it was just, I don't know. I think some of this, you know, today's time is different. There weren't a lot of women doing this. You know, this is not like it is today. It was very, very few. You know, the women were secretaries or worked in the sales department, with short skirts on. I mean, but to do this, so who was going to be it? So I stuck with the pro, and he to this day, he just said 2 or 3 things to me that were just, you know, if I hadn't heard that, I wouldn't know. You probably would never met me.
But that was good advice. That was sage advice that he gave you. Just don't put all your eggs in one basket.
You know, I do multiple things in this business, Sharon. I was like, multiple things? What was this man saying? I mean, I'm a DJ. That's all I'm going to do is play records. And he was absolutely correct. Because they went from reel-to-reels and all that to carts. It was like huge 8-tracks. Would put music in spots on and stuff. And they started phasing things out. You really didn't use a reel-to-reel that much after a certain time. And then the cassettes came in. All these new things were coming in. So the need was changing dramatically to have all these people sitting at the radio station all night that you got to pay. Because there's automation now.
Right.
And they can program it where I don't even have to, you don't ever see me or come in contact with me. I know how to do that. So that's what he was preparing me for how it is now. It's hard. But I had to learn the equipment. And that wasn't easy either because all these different brands and technologies, and it's been a lot. But I feel the Lord has blessed me in that I was a curious person anyway. The moment I learned how to learn how stuff went, I was happy because I said, I could do this. I mean, to me, it was like I would tell myself that because nobody else was going to tell me. Good. Now use that when you go. So I would plot it out before I got there, and each station was different. 92Q was totally different. It was big corporate.
So how is Jazzy 88? Now you're settled in Jazzy 88. How many years have you been at Jazzy 88 now?
Be 20 years here shortly.
20 years.
In November 28th of 2005.
So how did you get to Jazzy 88?
I already had my show. What's the 411, which was an act of Congress to get it.
Tell us about that. Let's stop and let's talk about that.
How difficult that was. Nashville, there were no shows kind of like mine, per se, on a station in corporate America.
So now we've had a lot of noise come by, so we're going to repeat the name of the show.
Okay.
What's the 411?
What's the 411 with Sharon Kay? I started it at 92Q. It took me a whole year and a half to get that show on the air because they kept taking me through stuff because they didn't want to stop the music. And people have to understand that. It was a systematic programming to keep us dancing, partying. Because the fear was that if we did stop the dancing and they got serious for a minute, they won't come back. They'll change the channel. But that's not what happened. It didn't happen at all. And I responded to the community saying all these things to me. And, I wish they would do this, so I just reacted to it. But I had to convince corporate media to change the format for me, and who is she? Oh, she worked part-time. But I had to keep going through all these challenges. They put all these stumble blocks in front of me. Well, what you going to call it? I'm going to study it on what I was going to call it. Then my next one was, what you going to put on it, and name some content, and write me a little report. And I was like, oh. So then the next thing I had to do was do a statistical report on Nashville's radio market to tell them how much saturation it's already been here with black talk shows, which is zero. VOL had a few things, but not on black corporate media. White-owned, black format. So it was very difficult. And the last thing they asked me was, if we did allow you to do this, it's not going to make any money anyway. You find a sponsor, I'll give you this show. And I did. I went out and talked to Dr. T.B. Boyd. I went to the source. He the man. He was one of the big figures, in Nashville.
Sure.
TV says so is so. And he sponsored.
Just so people know, that's Boyd Publishing.
Yes, absolutely. The oldest black American publisher in the United States. The family business.
5 generations.
Yeah, Baptist publishing and all that. So he was really a respected black man in Nashville, highly respected. So I went to him, because I had interviewed him when I worked at the Pride a couple times. And I explained to him what was going on, because he was one of those kind of people that, I think Dr. Jones, Bobby Jones, I may have sat down and kept talking about him. Yeah, because they had to get the money. This stuff wasn't easy, and you can't tell people how they're going to make money on it. They don't want to hear nothing you got to say. So he sponsored for the first quarter. That went well. They was making $40 every Sunday. Well, they wasn't making none before. And then he upped it to 6 months, and then he stayed on as my sponsor for until I came to Fisk. Yeah, he was my sponsor for years. Had not been for that, they wouldn't have had it on. But they wanted to stop the music. Now, that's what people in this city need to understand in their head. That's the station, and you love it, and I ain't got no problem with that. But this is how people were thinking about our community. Just because if we stop it, y'all ain't interested in hearing all that. You want to keep dancing. Now, what does that say about us here?
But that's somebody trying to dictate to a community without asking the community.
Community
what
was
they
raising
wanted.
holy hell because they was
Right.
tired of it, okay?
Right.
And they would see me everywhere. So I just took, rolled the dice. And that was hard. But when I found him, I was like,
That's it right there.
look, Jesus is real. When I
You got your sponsor.
I mean, real, because he wasn't. They had never advertised anywhere. See, I'm just telling you, I was like, Lord. So, when the university brought me, I took my show because I owned it. I owned the trademark on my name, and it just bringing it to this just changed it. I got more time. I didn't have all the constraints around me. I can have on the show basically what I wanted. I had all these distinguished people working at the university to have access to. University is highly respected and highly loved, HBCU. So my access was different. But I could also expand it. And so for the last almost 20 years, because I started the 401 show in 2001, September 11th, year, right after that. I just got an opportunity to think different because my audience was different.
It was different.
Yeah. At 92, office and things of that nature. But to here at university, educational,
Right.
I had to retune my whole brain.
And we're the Athens of the South.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what they folks say. So, I don't know, everything about the Nashville media market, but I do know when I studied it, it was a lot of things here that weren't here for the community, a lot. And because they didn't put any money behind it, that means they got even less. Does that make sense?
Right.
So my show is currently sponsored by Terry W. Jones, independent agent at State Farm.
Okay.
He has been sponsoring my show since 2005.
That's wonderful.
So from the day I started it,
Yeah.
it changed when I came over to Fisk. Boyd cut off after 5 years, whatever. Then, instantly,
So that's 20 years.
he picked up. He's been my sponsor ever since. So the university's actually making money off that show, not sharing. I give it to,
The university.
and so we can keep the business going.
Right.
So I just feel different. It's like when you're working to and for the community at that level. Does that make sense?
Right.
I can either be negative, I can be or I can be positive. And my choice was I wanted the image of Nashville to not be so ghetto, dumb, stupid, ignorant.
Right.
I couldn't stand it. And I just wanted the overarching positive image of the community so that we wouldn't be looked down on. We wouldn't think North Nashville is crime-ridden, you can't do this, can't. I mean, it was just all these things that were just, It was terrible. It really was. The image that was projected up here.
The community. So as much as you've poured into the community, here's the big question. What can the community do for you in Jazzy 88?
That's the easiest thing. You don't ask me all day, Karen.
Is it money?
They can become donors. 615-329-8754 is my office number, donor sponsor. That's the only way the station stays going.
That's right.
Most people in Nashville think Fisk is throwing in all this money. Fisk is not throwing in all this money. If I didn't raise it,
Right. You would
done. It would have been done. That's why they brought me. They didn't bring me to have party and have fun. That is not what they hired me for. I didn't know it till I got in the door. So, they didn't say, oh, by the way, there was no oh, by the way. It was none of that. I just knew I could not work in that environment.
So what's the future that you see for the radio station? If there was something that you could change, something
About
that you
the
could
station?
add?
I would extend our power, but we can't. because it's too late. There's too many other stations around our frequency that we're locked in.
Okay.
That university blew that some years back when I told them they didn't react fast enough.
Fast enough, yeah.
FCC is going to open a crack window for you. You can't get
Well,
back
they
with
opened
it.
it, yeah.
You
Right.
got to make this the top.
Right now.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll do it later. Throw it to the side. This yeah, I'm so yeah. I went through that twice.
Right.
2 opportunities to do something like that for the station, and the university just poo-pooed. All this, all that. Oh, that's right. I forgot. It's too late now. They didn't close the window. So I told that to Hazel O'Leary because it was her administration.
Okay.
She said, "That happened here." I said, "Yes, ma'am, it did." And I said, because at the time she was not my immediate supervisor. I just wanted her to know that
Right.
you all cannot operate like this. You can't think of the station as just this junk over here. You can't think of it like that. You have to think of it as in we have our license. We have to satisfy the Federal Communications Commission, period.
Right.
And there is no, because Fisk has it, no. If they grant the license and they can take it just as quick as they gave it to you. And somebody else will be happy to have it. So we have really shot ourselves in the foot twice. And I had brought it to them far enough in advance and told them, so we don't do this, we don't do that. Well, we'll get to it, Sharon. So I've told every president
Yeah.
that, and they haven't moved on it,
Right, okay. So if the FCC has a little crack, do they have the
They
understanding?
don't have
that
any more. That was it.
No more, that was it?
No, because Nashville's market is
The frequency
saturated.
now is
Yeah.
saturated.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're not supposed to overlap on other people, but they overlap on us. So, I mean, there was things we could have raised the power up. We could have thrown the signal in a different direction. I was trying to throw it toward Brentwood and Franklin
Right.
and maybe Wilson County. I was trying to throw it that way.
That would have been good.
The Catholic Church. They bought all that. So we were landlocked. And I just cannot, I know the university has its issues and things, but you have got to understand. You have shot yourself in both feet, pow, pow.
Yeah.
And this won't come around again.
Yeah, that sense of urgency wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, we can't think like that. And you must take this seriously. If we don't serve the public, we're done. All somebody has to do is complain.
So let me ask you this question. With Project 2025 through the Trump administration, has that affected the radio station at all?
Some of it has, and I'm just now probably getting some of the fallout. I know it impacted us financially because some of the people, agencies and things in Nashville were getting funding. That Elon Musk chainsaw thing, that cut up some money up for a lot of people too. So the fact is that 2025 wants us to stay stupid, okay, and wants us to stay uninformed. And you're going to do this according to what we think. You're going to have history according to how we write it. No, you're not. No, we're not. So somebody has to tell the truth. Right. Somebody has to bring it like it needs to be brought. We're not part of a big corporation. So I don't have to do what Big Daddy said. I don't have to as far as that's concerned. But I mean, to me, it's like it's a disservice for us to sit here and think our history and who we are has to be trash because it don't meet your standard, whatever that is. And it's just I can't tell the community how important it is to have a station like this one.
Right.
I mean, we're sitting in the center of the community, for goodness'
That's not
sakes.
censored.
Yeah.
And the wings can't be clipped.
No, and we couldn't afford to clip them anyway. Well, the university, that's their space, so we don't have to pay for that. And they give me just enough money to pay me and X and our benefits. And not another penny more.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And speaking of that, mine could be higher. Okay.
Yours could be higher. Well, I've got another question for you. So this past April, the Jefferson Street Sound Museum honored you with the historic Jefferson Street Star
Now, you wasn't supposed to start
Award.
that one.
To recognize all of your years across media, broadcasting, radio, television, print media. So, what did it mean to you to be honored at the Lorenzo Washington Day Gala?
To be honest, I thought it was hot stuff.
All right.
How y'all like me now? Yeah, I did. How y'all like me now, Nashville? Okay. So, I mean, it was just like a different kind of validation. because it came from the heart of the community.
Yes.
And especially sound, and I know the work that you and Mr. Lorenzo do is around the music and the business.
Right.
And that was to me the highest level of approval. I just, when I got home with my stuff, I started crying. I was like, I'm the only person in this house, Lord. But I'm just happy. I'm glad. I was in the house crying by myself, honey.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
I was, because I had worked for that in Nashville for a long time. I've been here since '86. You know, I had long time. And, you know, that just validated me, I got to tell you. And I still, right now, smile. I just,
Yeah. Well, you know, that's our aim, is to recognize those individuals that have actually helped preserve the musical legacy
oh, yeah.
of North Nashville
Yes.
and historic Jefferson Street,
Yes.
because the impact is worldwide. It's
Yes.
just not here on Jefferson Street,
Yeah.
or Nashville, or Tennessee, or the United States, but it's the world that's been impacted.
Well, and we will have legends, some of the city's legends. You know, I used to have Miss James.
Marion?
Yeah. She used to be on the station when she had her fundraiser. And there was a couple other people, everything they would do, I would bring them onto the station or have them on the phone or tell me what's going on. So we did a lot of personal things for a lot of artists here in Nashville. Somebody else that you recently honored, and I think of D. Ford Bailey's, we had his people on.
D. Ford Bailey, the harmonica wizard.
Yeah. Yes. And there was somebody else that you had on, and he was just on because he just did a record.
Charles Wig Walker.
Yeah, him. I play his song plays every Saturday. He don't even know it.
And don't you love it? I mean, just a good CD. So for anybody who's listening, you need to purchase Charles Wig Walker's latest CD.
But I mean, see, that's the kind of stuff we can do, but you can't do that anywhere else. You just can't. So, and I recognize that. But by you doing what you all did here, it told me that somebody was paying attention.
Yeah.
Okay? So it wasn't in vain. I'm serious. I'm just thank God it wasn't.
So you know what is so good too, because you've helped the museum out by letting the listeners know about the gala,
all the time.
4th of July, and the
yeah.
spirit of freedom, and as far as the genealogy tree,
Everything.
when Mr. Washington first started, and taking postcards around to share with everybody. So to let you know, it's not in vain. The museum was nominated at the gala. I don't know if you remember, but Frank Stevenson with the Tennessee Department of Tourism and Development.
Yes, I remember Frank Stevenson gave
Yes. So nominated the museum for the U.S. Civil Rights Trail.
Excellent.
So that award is supposed to be official the end of October
That's
in
beautiful.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Well, you gotta tell me.
Yeah.
Because you know I want to know what the 411 is. So you already
Because you know we're going to tell you. I'm going to show up. Sharon, put me on the air.
Yeah, I'm downstairs in the parking lot.
Yeah, here I am. Open the door. Right? Yeah. So
But I mean,
let
that's
you
it.
know.
Well,
Yeah.
Mr. Lorenzo has just been a fixture
Yes.
over here. Just
Yes.
like a light pole or a bank across the street. And when he came, he was friendly to me. Some of the people, when they came up, because they were like, she don't know nothing. I mean, that's what some of the people, men in Nashville. She gonna tear the station up. I'm like, okay, next. I mean, you know, the black fathers of Nashville who didn't know that I knew what I was doing.
Exactly.
Assumed I didn't. He was one of the friendlies. He came up and he was like, I did this. And he would sit down and we talked for a few minutes. And I was impressed with the fact that it was organized. A lot of other stuff wasn't. You know, when he brought that tree, I was like, man, this is deep. Because I hadn't been presented in that format.
Right.
And you hear the stories, this and that, and this and that. And his was condensed. So all you had to do was just pass it to somebody and they could learn something. I thought that was genius.
That's a map.
Yeah.
That is a map of Jefferson
It is.
Street.
Oh, most definitely. Most
in the
definitely.
shape of a tree.
And I think that, you know, the community at large, I think the black community could be a little more loving to y'all. Simply because you're trying to preserve black history before all of America's history is revisionist.
Right.
It's going to be revised, but you at least have these stories told of all these great people that are in here. All these great legacies and traditional, the voices of, you know, no place else in Nashville quite like this.
Exactly.
It's not. It's not quite like this.
It's authentic. It's
Yeah,
genuine.
it is.
It's the real deal.
Yes.
It
Most
is.
definitely. So I think that, you know, people do like to see a lot of people, you know. I don't know who owns that building next door, but just knock that down and, you know, put the extension on there. I ain't trying to get nothing started in the neighborhood, but I'm
Just saying.
right. I mean, the potential.
Right.
And if he wasn't doing this, who would do it? Who gonna tell our story?
Exactly.
Huh?
Well, and if you want it to be told, just like I shared with you with telling your story, you want to be the one to tell it.
Of
You don't want
course.
anybody to tell it
No.
for you because they won't get it right.
No, no.
So it's coming directly from you.
Right.
So with that being said, I want to say thank you for joining us today
Thank you.
and sharing your thoughts, your personal thoughts.
And I was uncut.
And that's
you
totally
find something,
uncut.
you find something in that interview that can get me in trouble.
I would say let it roll.
No, I meant what I said. I meant everything I said.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just, I just still can't believe that y'all want to know what I do. It just.
Yes. You make an impact every time you're on the air. You make an impact.
Wow.
You make a difference.
And I enjoy it. And my great grandkids are just floored. My granny is so cool.
Yeah, that's
Very
it.
cool, very
That's
cool.
what you want to know.
Yeah, I want them to not read about me in somewhere or something else. I want them to either hear me or see what I have accomplished.
Exactly.
And this really will help a lot.
That's it. They were at the gala.
They're going to be watching too.
Yeah.
They can run a Black History Report on that, couldn't
They can.
they? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank everybody for coming.